Reporting from the MB.
The Gulf Shore area of the state of Alabama is an attraction for a lot of people who vacation. Folks from all over the world come here to spend their summer months. Some folks own permanent homes here. The house behind me seems to have a special attraction for marijuana smugglers who bring pot by the boatload from Colombia.
We feel that it's because it's so isolated. It has a heavy hedgerow down both sides of it with easy access to deep water.
How many boatloads, freighter loads of Colombian gold do you think your police department and other law enforcement people have missed that came into this particular spot here?
I would be scared to say on this particular spot. We know of 3 different deals that was worked from this house that there has been cases made on.
Do you have any idea as to whether or not some other folks may have some plans to use this same house?
No, sir, we don't at this time.
Captain, can you give me an indication of how that drug raid may have affected the drug traffic, specifically in this area? You think any of it may have been headed from Montgomery?
Norman, we're not sure where it may have been headed. We feel that
probably most of it was going outside the state of Alabama, but we feel that we made a pretty good dent in the traffic in this area.
Is this an organized drug ring, the mafia, or some outfit out of Detroit or Chicago? Or?
We got information that some of these individuals may have been connected with the Dixie Mafia. Investigator Bobby Stewart of Baldwin County Sheriff's Department might elaborate on that some.
Not a whole lot. Now, we did gather information through the intelligence with Georgia Bureau of Investigation that there were at least 3 of these associated with the Dixie Mafia.
Have you been able to find out from them if they are Dixie Mafia?
They emphatically deny it.
This intercoastal waterway can accommodate vessels the size of freighters. The last voyage of the sailboat Cavoux has not dampened the ideas of several drug smugglers who may try to use this area again to deposit the highly prized Colombian gold marijuana. This is Norman Lumpkin, WSFA TV News, Orange Beach, Alabama.
We did have potential replacement. These replacements either are not.
Morris, who resigned some time ago. Luther.
We've agreed with them, however, at this time to delay that and see just how far the state auditors will go in their auditing meeting, but hopefully after the 16th of the month on Home and Children's Residential Program. We appointed, I'll call this to your attention, or a statement made of maintaining them with this, with a repeat of your presidency this year, Commission, and we did have potential replacement. These replacements either are not available at this time since the ruling of the court, or
outreach program of the authority. Indeed, it was the first telephone crisis service in the entire state of Alabama. Presently, the help of crisis number is the only number operating in.
And we have been told that we will lose all seated positions. An appeal is being made to the Department of Justice for a hardship case in order to keep those same 6 seated people in their jobs. We would love to hire and several others that are in seated positions, but we are unable to at this present time because of financial difficulty.
Getting the city foundation started, it takes a lot of work. So we're going to have a lot of the new city of Millbrook.
Here. Alderman number 4, Ralph Hall. Here.
In fact, no treasurer right. That
Well, have you made up your mind that you're not going to raise any rates regardless of what the facts are?
No, sir. I have not. We don't have a rate increase pending for the first time since 1975.
Well, if you make up your mind and you announce beforehand in the paper prints that you're not going to raise any rates, and I'm not for raising any rates either. I'd like to lower the rates. That's what I want to do. But if you make up your mind and you announce before you have a hearing, and I don't know which one announces first, I think you really try to maybe draw straws to see who announces first. But anyway, I always see an announcement by the Public Service Commission, we ain't going to raise no rates before they get a petition filed. And trying a lawsuit, I find that's pretty prejudicial when the judge says you ain't going to win when before you come over here. So what could we do to change that? That's what I want to know.
Nothing.
In response to Mr. Edwards' question, it says in here, any amounts identified by the
Reports of this auditing process before the Public Service Commission repose over there in the Commission's files and are open to be looked at any time. By any member of the public, the press, and in particular the legislature. This right here happens to be the most recent annual report of Alabama Power Company. A vast amount of information is required to be in it. It's required to be sworn to. It's audited, certified by independent public accountants in the course of its filing.
I think it's a great advantage because I think both men have done an excellent job. Emory Farmer has done an excellent job as councilman. Jim Robinson did an excellent job as mayor, and his fiscal policies were excellent, I think.
You're down here tonight watching the council meeting. You've been here for several years in your former capacity. What do you feel like as far as going to work on the council as to being a council member? What do you think the change would be like from being somebody that's before the council to someone that's going to be sitting up there voting on matters?
Well, Wallace, I really don't know what it feels like to sit up on the other side of the bench up there. I just know that I'm going to do the best job I can, and I've got to get myself informed about exactly what's going on at the present time on the council, and I do my best to review the budgets and everything else at this point in time so that I can get myself abreast of all the facts that are happening at the council at the present time. And I'm going to do the best I can to get myself informed, especially about the current happenings on the council.
Welcome, glad to have you.
I didn't come out here to speak really on. There's a little confusion about this bill, and I haven't read this one paper, but I was called in regard to it. It said, as simply as to take the jail out from under the jurisdiction of the sheriff and create the position of jail administrator, who will have custody of the jail and everything in it. It's just that simple. He'll have no more authority in regard to the custody of the jail. He'll be now, if this legislation passes, and I hope it does, be out catching criminals, turning over to the jail administrator, and he incarcerates them and so forth. It's just that simple.
We have a staff of 28 people operating with 10 less people. But it will be my position before this council and before
that we have no need for a consolidated jail on our part. I think that we have a jail that's capable of taking care of prisoners that are held in for misdemeanors in the city of Montgomery. As you know, we now have a new judicial article that has district courts. And those prisoners charged with felonies in this city are placed in the county jail, are supposed to be. But at the present time, we're housing the misdemeanor prisoners and convicts that's tried in municipal court, plus the district court prisoners, plus several prisoners, I believe it's 32 of them today for the state of Alabama that we're holding. But at the present time, we are capable of taking care of all prisoners committed by the municipal court of the city of Montgomery. We have a model jail that we're operating at the present time. It's equipped with closed circuit TV. It's many jails in the country, and the state of Alabama has been modeled after this jail, and we don't see any real need for consolidation on our part.
Alabama has been competing vigorously with other southern states for foreign investment. Ordinarily, the construction of a foreign-owned plant such as this would be a welcome sight, but some local workers here have taken a different view. The West German-owned firm of Degussa, Alabama, is building a $150 million chemical plant complex at Theodore, Alabama, about 10 miles from Mobile. Almost all of the 1,000 construction workers on the job are Americans, except for about 30 German bricklayers who are lining the high-temperature furnaces which are used in the manufacture of chemicals. The German firm which makes the furnaces would not give a warranty on them unless their own bricklayers did the work. The local bricklayers union has taken issue with that, saying its own men who are currently unemployed should have been given the job.
I feel like, and I know I have men that capable that does this type work, similar to what they're doing down there, and it's knocking my bricklayers out of a job.
Company officials say 2 American firms submitted bids for the furnace work, but could not give satisfactory guarantees. They say the contract with the German firm is costing more than if American bricklayers had been used. But that is no consolation to the local bricklayers, who are concerned this project will set a trend in the construction industry. They want the State Department to deny visas to foreign workers as long as American workers are unemployed. Kimley Jones, NBC News, Theodore, Alabama.
We do sincerely welcome all people back here today for this gathering to honor a great man. Cloud has produced a lot of great men. It's glad to have all of you back, and we do truly welcome you, and we hope that each of you
the historical if you will note in your program, thank you very much. The other introducing our very
and philosophical lives. So I'm very proud of that. Because the greatest effort in American history has been that comeback. And I lived in those 30s.
Governor George Wallace for NBC. Governor, why do you think that the president changed his mind to fund the Tennessee Tom Bigby when there were strong indications that he wouldn't?
Well, I don't know that you said there's strong indications that he would not. I think he wanted all of these various and sundry projects surveyed and gone over and studied to see if they met the criteria of returning dollars to the American public for dollars spent. And I think after all the evidence was in, he was very convinced that the Tennessee Tom Bigby is going to be a worthwhile project to the American people, not only to the people in this region, but it will return more money to the economy and more industrial growth and more strength to the American economy than it cost.
Governor, there was apparently some congressional members who did not approve of the president's actions, and it may have cost him his rebate.
Nationwide and worldwide, but for me to say that an individual he owes the people of our nation, we are part of the nation, but I do feel that the people of our region, their philosophy and attitude today is desired by the great mass of people in other parts of the country. Return to the idea of God and country.
I'd like to go through that again. Governor George Wallace for CBS New York. Governor, why did the president change his mind to fund the Tennessee Tom? Okay.
I'm here with Roy Lee Bailey, the number 4 seed in the women's singles competition. Roy Lee, tomorrow you meet the number 1 seed, Kathy Kirkendall. She's the overwhelming favorite. How do you intend to play her tomorrow?
Well, I'd like to try to move her around if I can. She's a hard hitter, but she doesn't come to net too often, and she doesn't move forward as well as she does side to side. So if I can get in some drop shots or some short angles, I think that'll help a lot.
Now, you've never played her before. Are you nervous about this one?
Well, I think I'm prepared. You know, it's not any more than being nervous, you know, in another match. But I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
Okay, I don't have to tell you, it's been hot out here all week. How do you think that's affected the general play of the players out here?
The general play, well, it takes some adjustment. I think the humidity drains you more than just the heat. So it does take a little bit of adjusting. Some players it bothers more than others. I think it is hard. I think in a week or two everybody would be ready to, you know, it wouldn't bother you.
Okay, you were eliminated from the doubles competition in the first round. You think maybe with the heat that might give you an advantage in the singles over someone like Kathy Kirkendall who's still in the doubles competition?
No, because the doubles is after the singles matches. So I don't look at it that way. No.
Okay.
Wouldn't be an advantage.
Okay, thank you very much. Good luck to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, that was Roy Lee Bailey. She will meet Kathy Kirkendall, the number 1 seed, in tomorrow's women's semifinals. In the other semifinal match, we'll have the number 2 seed, Kate Latham, against Robin Tenney. She's the number 6 seed. And of course, there's been some excitement here tonight about the fast serving contest that is just getting started. But most of the top servers in the men's competitions are still in their doubles play right now, so nothing there of consequence has yet to happen. Live from the O'Connor Tennis Center, I'm Dan O'Brien. Back to you, Phil.
On yesterday, the Senate of Alabama took a vote on one of the first bills sponsored by the administration and opposed by the Alabama Power Company. On a vote of 17 to 10, the substitute bill, that is the bill supported by George Wallace's administration, overcame opposition of the power company and was adopted. Then on a motion to adjourn the Senate, it failed 21 to 7. And then Senator Peden began to filibuster against my bill that the power company doesn't want, recalling for an audit of their books. Then a motion was made to adjourn that had been previously defeated a few minutes before by the vote of 21 to 7. And Lieutenant Governor Beasley gavelled this adjournment motion through and wasted another of the few legislative days remaining in this session. The Lieutenant Governor has long said that he supported every utility bill of the governor, but has used every means at his hand to defeat every single one of them. Every newsman and woman that covers the legislature of Alabama knows full well that Governor Beasley is not on the side of anyone but the Alabama Power Company. I've known that a long time. It has become very evident. And after promising to help pass these bills, when we had a majority of the vote on yesterday, we find that he adjourns the legislature and does not give them a right to vote yea or nay on the adjournment motion, which wasted another legislative day. I recognize the people of this state do not like to see those in public office quarrel with one another about personal matters. I too dislike this and have refrained from it on so many occasions. But this issue is a matter of whether you stand with the people of this state who have been victimized by high spiraling electric cost and a special interest, the Alabama Power Company, that ought to be audited as far as its management practices are concerned to see if they cannot have some good management practices added in order to curtail the rise in cost of electric rates in Alabama. Lieutenant Governor Beasley has chosen to go along with the power company, as everyone in the hearing of my voice here in this news session knows, and therefore I want the people of Alabama to know that.
And the most recent event that sort of tells you about who's where is what happened in the Public Service Commission itself just about 30 days ago, when on a 2-to-1 vote, the people of Alabama were throttled with $90 million in new rates, a rate increase of that size. On a 2-to-1 vote, the deciding vote was cast by the only appointed member of the Public Service Commission, and that man was appointed by none other than George Wallace. So the governor's trying to shift the blame to others, and I guess that's the way he's operated all for many, many years, because If you remember back in the days of segregation, the strongest segregationist Alabama in the whole state was George Wallace. And you've got monuments to that fact in Birmingham, Alabama, and other places in this state, where you played with people's emotions and told them one thing and privately did another. And those days are over now, and so there's got to be another issue. And you take an issue that people are inflamed about, and something ought to be done about the Alabama Power Company. There's no question about it. You're arguing now over an audit bill in the Senate. Who proposed the audit bill before the Senate? Jerry Beasley, not George Wallace. And now the governor takes this issue and runs with it and comes up with a bill that obviously has got some problems in the Senate, because a lot of people have the idea that this audit's going to now be used for raising campaign funds from thousands of corporations in this state, including the Alabama Power Company.
All right, take your marks. Go!
Are you thinking about the Moscow Olympics this far in advance? Does it ever cross your mind?
I think about it occasionally, but that's 3 years away, and people come on, you know, like lightning, and you don't really know where you'll be in that far away. But I'm definitely pointing towards that.
Okay, what goals do you have as a swimmer?
Well, I'd like to see us win the NCAA championship as the next goal on my mind. Plus, I'd like to be able to possibly win all 5 events at NCAAs within a year or two, including the relays. And in the same year, I'd like to see us win and maybe start a dynasty.
You'd like that, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I would.
Then if so, how would you like to change the system as it currently exists?
Well, rather than change, I would like to increase the diagnostic facilities of the present crime laboratory that is operated here in Montgomery by the State Department of Toxicology and Criminal Investigation. This organization is headed by Dr. Railing in Auburn, and his chief assistant is Dr. Carlos Rabin. Period. Here in Montgomery, Mr. Roper does an outstanding job, period. I know all of these individuals, and I've worked with this organization very closely over the years, and they simply do an outstanding job. Now, as the technical advances have been made in this field, as in all fields, each of these crime laboratories needs a central morgue, which we do not have at the present time. They need increased facilities for ballistic determination, X-ray examination of bodies, and further toxicology systems to analyze various poisons, period. It's not possible anymore to conduct autopsies and criminal investigations of various parts of crime scenes at the scene itself or in the funeral homes, period. We've done this in the past, and the funeral homes have been outstanding and helpful in their work. But simply, we must go on now and update and completely modernize our system of crime detection here in Montgomery and Central Alabama. And I believe we can do this through the facilities which I have outlined.
A majority of the Senate of Alabama had agreed to stay around the clock to beat a filibuster by a minority group of senators against the utility bills and supporting the power company's position. The lieutenant governor today attended a funeral. He placed in the chair Mr. Fine, his hand-picked candidate for President Pro Tem, who had said that he was going to see the bills killed if he personally had to do it. And when he was in the chair, a motion to adjourn was made, gavelled through when a majority of the senators were opposed. It is going to take action by the Rules Committee, a majority of which are controlled by Lieutenant Governor Beasley, in order to get these bills up for a vote. It's going to take Lieutenant Governor Beasley in the chair to make it possible for the senators to vote on this legislation designed to curtail spiraling utility costs in Alabama. Lieutenant Governor Beasley says, "I am for the bills." He talks one way and acts another. It boils down to this matter. If the lieutenant governor is for the bills, as he says he is, the bills will pass.
If he is not for the bills, they will not pass. As of the moment, all the evidence shows he is against the bills, and I hope the public pressure in this state will force the Lieutenant Governor of Alabama and this minority group in the Senate supporting the power company's position to at least vote for one time and support the people of Alabama.
From Atlantis, an all-new science fiction thriller, Saturday at 9, 8 Central Time on NBC.
From the producer of The Towering Inferno and The Poseidon Adventure, high drama of the deadliest danger in nature.
This gas truck is loaded with high octane. This truck blows the whole town apart.
Ernest Borgnine, Vera Miles, and Patty Dugaston star in Irwin Allen's production of Fire, right after a special 2-hour Disney, Someday starting at 7, 6 Central.